Deep breath out. And you're going to make a U-shaped tongue like so. And then breathe out your nose. So suck in air out of the U-shaped tongue. Breathe out the nose. Take a deep breath in and relax. Good. 2024 is upon us. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
No, not really. Try to
Okay.
keep away from those things
Why do you say that?
because I hate breaking promises to myself.
Mm.
I've never really been a New Year's resolution type of guy. But I remember in the past whenever I had made New Year's resolutions, by mid January I had already broken those promises to myself.
Okay. Well, do you make resolutions to yourself anyway? Just not
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, definitely,
throughout the
definitely. Definitely, I
season.
try to do that, but it's not necessarily at the beginning of the year, because I think that for one, when you're making it personally, you're kind of making it to feel connected with other people who's also trying to do it too, So
Mhm.
I think that if you're really trying to make resolutions, they should be when you're ready for them,
I
not
get
just
it.
because it's the new year. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand New Year. I understand that New Year, you knew me. That's all cool. That's all good and all. But in the end, though, how many people say New Year, new me, and how many times do they actually, go through with it? So
mhm. Well, actually, I was talking to my client yesterday, and he was a smoker, and he smoked his whole life. But
okay,
January 1st, 1980,
okay,
he stopped smoking.
okay.
He hasn't smoked in 44 years.
I'm really happy for him. No, again, like I said, I'm not saying that it takes away from the actual willpower of people, but I think that he might have been ready much before, January the 1st. It's kind of like, all right, dang, everybody's about to give up something, or everybody's going to start to do something. What am I going to do? I'm quite sure that he was already like honed in. Maybe I'm not going to say on January or December the 29th, but I think he might have been really close to giving up smoking. And he kind of said, January 1st, I've been telling myself I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it now.
Yeah,
So I
no,
mean, and I'm definitely sure that his willpower. Transcended, the ideal that it was only because it was the 1st of January.
I get it. So, but you think making resolutions is important just in general,
In
like
life, yeah,
when
yeah.
you when
It
you're
could be,
ready.
like I said, it could be on the 1st of January. I'm not taking anything away from that, but
Mm-hmm.
it just has to be when you're ready for those resolutions. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
that point in your life where you're like, you know what, this is what I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to be defined as. And I don't think particularly because it's the 1st of January or the new year.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But what
And what
about?
about you? What
Well, you
about you?
know
Do you
what?
make?
So I be this past weekend was my birthday. So I actually did ayahuasca on Saturday with
Okay.
my shaman. And the shaman said he wants to
Okay.
be on the podcast, so we'll have him on the
Okay.
podcast soon.
Well, definitely, definitely.
And it is confirmed because this is my second time doing ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Confirmed that that I'm a superhuman being, and we're all superhuman beings. But
Uh,
I feel like alcohol was just was my kryptonite.
okay. Okay.
So that's going to be something I'm going to take it day by day. But
Okay.
I think I'm done with alcohol and other
Okay.
substances for good. I've been
Okay.
when I was younger, I definitely had a substance abuse problem. But over the last 20 years, I really cleaned that up. But it still sometimes shows its head here and there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I don't get anything out of it anymore.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
even like it when I'm doing it, and
Okay.
so it's not enjoyable anymore.
Okay.
And it takes away if I'm hungover a whole day. That's a day that I could
Yeah.
that I could be focused, and I'm foggy for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to work on day by day. But I don't think I need that anymore in my life.
Okay.
I know don't
Okay.
think I know I don't need it more in my life,
Okay.
I know that's
Okay.
the only thing that's really stopping me from truly being fully abundant in life.
Okay. 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 You think that that's the one thing that's keeping you from that superhuman um, being that you were talking about just now?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm really am a superhuman, but I think it's like you're on it's like you're on a super fast jet boat or a super fast
Okay.
yacht, but
Okay.
you got to anchor,
Okay.
and so it's
Okay.
like
Okay.
it
So it's
holds us down.
limiting. It's
Yeah,
limiting. It limits you. Yeah.
it limits. Yes, it's a
Yeah. Okay.
limiting thing, and
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's
You got to say limitless, right? So
that
you know what I'm saying, right?
we're all limitless beings.
Okay.
It's all about it's kind of like we're all like and that's one of my other revelations, and it's something I've always been thinking about and been reading about anyway. And even Western science is back in this. It's like we're kind of like um, we're in a quantum universe where we're like everybody's in the superposition. So
Okay.
you can but the realization is what do you become? So but you have the potential to be anything. You have the
Yeah.
potential to be they had the potential to be the porous or the semi-porous or the non-porous object or a photon or whatever.
Okay.
And you have
Yeah.
the potential of being as wealthy as you want to. You have the potential of being a bum, and I think everybody has this,
Okay.
but it's just a matter of realization. And when it comes to realization, there's a lot of conditioning that goes along with it. Not only conditioning from you, but conditioning from your environment, conditioning from your
Yeah.
parents.
I was just about to talk about that,
Stuff
about
that
the environment
we
with
talked
the
about it
parents,
before, but
where you're from.
but
Yeah.
stuff I talked about before, but we all have this potential. I
Okay.
firmly believe in that, and I think the whole universe has the potential to be whatever it wants to be.
Okay.
It's about realization. So
Okay.
I know
Yeah. I see
you're
what you're
into
saying.
I know you're into quantum physics and quantum mechanics and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. But what I was going to say was, all right. So I was talking about how like a lot of times when um, when that period when I did used to make New Year's resolutions, I would say probably about
mm,
when I was about 20, 21 years old, that
mhm,
period there, early adult age or whatnot.
mm,
And I used to break my promises to myself, these
mm,
resolutions to myself. And I'm not going to lie to you. And I think that what gave me solace was the fact that, I said, okay, you know what? Because almost everyone's broken their New Year's resolution. So why not me, But again, like I said, in the end, that kind of like means that you really weren't, all in with that resolution. So what happens when someone, again, like I said, not necessarily New Year's resolutions, but a resolution to themselves during the year? What happens when they fall victim or they break that? Do you think that could really, really, really bring their morale down?
So that's the whole thing. I think about thing, and we talked about it before about having that shunya, that
Uh,
neutrality and stuff like that.
okay, okay,
Or if you're a professional athlete, you're like a basketball player.
yeah,
You got to just be able to take shots no matter what.
okay, okay,
And you can't. And of course, you may be down in that moment, but you can't let that moment be bigger than what it is. Like you got to move
okay,
on to the next moment in life. So
okay,
if you feel at doing something, you got to just try again. So
okay,
if you have a pack for yourself and you break for New Year's or any time of the year and you break it 15, 20 days later,
yeah,
if it's something you really want, you got to do it again. You got to keep on doing it again. And then that momentum eventually, it starts shifting. But
okay,
it, but it,
okay,
you know, but it's always a process. And in the beginning, I think it's always the hardest, you know. But you got to be determined what your chief aim is. And if your chief aim
okay,
is to do this, to stop drinking alcohol, to stop whatever you want to do, or I'm going to say stop. For me, it wasn't about stopping; it was about embracing clarity and sobriety. So,
okay,
and then not trying to stop something. 'Cause I believe when you're trying to stop something, that just creates like internal resistance, and then
yeah,
when you create
definitely,
internal resistance, that sets the person up for failure. So,
exactly,
like
exactly,
I'm just embracing healthiness
okay,
and clear mind and high levels of productivity. And so, what do I need to do to be a high level producer,
okay,
highly focused individual, and
okay,
healthy and always on point, So this is one of the things I need to eliminate,
okay,
and I know that, and it became crystal clear to me.
okay. I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah,
if I fail, you know what? I'm going to keep on trying, and I
okay,
think
okay,
think, of course, I will get down if I do, but I'm not planning to.
Yeah.
I think everybody get down. We're humans. We have emotions, but you got to keep on pushing. And I
Okay.
think it's better to try and fail than not to try at all. If you don't, if you just give in, then you just give in, and
Okay.
then
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
in the moment, that's the easiest path. I get it,
Uh-huh.
just to give in and say, "Oh, I don't care, I don't give a fuck." But in
Yeah.
reality, you live a life unfulfilled, or one lives a
Okay.
life unfulfilled, or and
Okay.
then there's a great level of fulfillment. I know, at least, that I achieve when, or that I receive when I accomplish something that I put my mind
Okay.
out to. And I think all
I think
humans are
we all do. Yeah. We all do.
humans are wired like that. But, or
Yeah.
and that was like one of our other topics. That's what drives us, and we were wondering if AI was going to take that drive away from us.
Uh-huh.
So maybe now a lot of our goals and accomplishments may not be so work oriented. It can be more about self mastery and
Okay.
inner wealth.
I
And
do kind of see a shift towards that,
yeah,
recently,
yeah,
recently, like in the last 5 or 6 years, that a
yeah.
lot of people are really trying to go through that, trying to get more in touch to and more in tune with who they are themselves, you know what
Mhm,
I'm saying? So
mhm.
I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people, I've been noticing that, that's been really, really relevant and prevalent in the last few years,
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's important. I think I think like they say, humans have not really evolved that much over the last couple thousands of years, and in reality, chimpanzees and human beings are like 98% alike from a
Yeah.
DNA standpoint.
Yeah.
But it's not really so much of evolution, it's a revolution that goes on because of our
Okay.
technology and our tools and stuff like that. We're a vastly different human being than the human being that was around 20,000 years ago.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Maybe genetically we're 99.99% the same,
Yeah.
but with the tools and the access that we have, we're able to access more of our brain. We're able to access more of our body. We were able to access more of our, whatever you want to call it, spirit or subconscious,
Yeah.
or subtle bodies and whatnot like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where humans, and it's not so much of a human evolution; it's more of a human revolution that
Okay.
needs to happen.
Yeah.
So
No, when you talk about that, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I just think personally that humans, we weren't, we more or less arrived to our, the let's say, to the perigee, to the apex of our evolution, really, as far as evolution from a survival point of view. Um,
yeah,
we created so many things for ourselves that, pretty much protected us, so we don't need to, what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
Does that mean that, this is the maximum, most optimal level of evolution for us or our species? No, but I just think that as far as the way we live, the only thing that can evolve more is the, I don't know, like you said before, being in touch with ourselves, and that's the
the,
brain. That's what
the,
happened inside.
the,
That's where our evolution.
the inner science.
Yeah,
We talked about
so
the Indians and the Indians and the monks. They were on this thousands of years ago. You
uh,
know,
yeah,
and then and so like and that's, and the reality of it, the human potential is so untapped. And I think the people that were able to tap the human potential became to be really extraordinary people, such as
yeah,
Gandhi or
yeah,
Nikola Tesla, or maybe Tesla in his early days until he kind of went cuckoo. And
yeah,
um, Elon Musk, even though I think he's a little wacky, but he's really tapping into like what a human being what a human potential is, you
yeah,
know. But I mean, and then that's part of the game too. It's like you become a little bit wacky when society
yeah.
is one way and you're like you're flying like an alien, you know.
You're definitely drinking. You're definitely drinking a different type of Kool Aid. You're drinking from a different well, so as everyone else.
You definitely drinking from a different well, no question
Yeah,
about that.
exactly, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, just just yeah. I mean, even a lot of the most how can I say, the greatest of minds. Even the Einsteins,
no, Einstein too was like that too.
Da Vinci's. A lot of these guys who were considered, or who we consider now extraordinary, they were not so. They were considered, saying, I don't know, smart, intelligent, but so far beyond their time, no, not really. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you mentioned Musk, and I think that personally, I've always been a Musk fan, and I still am, and I think that we just don't really understand him now. And I think in the future he will be spoken about in a way that we speak about Isaac Newton or Niels Bohr and all of these other guys.
No, for sure, yeah, for sure. Well, he's able to live a life where he's like, I don't know, I don't know the science behind it, and they say that humans can multitask, but
Yeah,
he's been able to compartmentalize at a level of like almost a supercomputer as a
yeah,
human being. Like he can be able to
yeah.
do a million tasks, maybe one task at that moment, but put that task down and do another task.
Exactly, exactly,
And
exactly. Almost simultaneously. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
almost simultaneous. So maybe
Yeah,
not quite simultaneous because like humans can multitask, but and that was another thing in my ayahuasca trip is about having extreme focus with task and with everything I do, and then because it all leads to being present and being in the
okay.
moment, like we talked about before. And I think the more in the moment one person is, the more everything life becomes richer,
Yeah, okay.
and clarity really sets in.
Exactly,
So,
exactly. No,
so
definitely, definitely. I mean, yeah, because clarity, yeah, it is difficult to find clarity when we have so many things going on. So,
mhm.
um, I can see how being able to focus on one of the multiple things that you have going on can be quite challenging. That's how. But that's how it's been with me since forever. I've always been
Mm,
the type where I've always had a million things going on, banging in my head, like, "Yo, give me attention! Oh, give me attention! Give me attention!" I'm trying to focus on that
mhm,
and pinpoint on that one thing that I need to be listening to. And that can be difficult. I can see that being a problem with most of society today.
mm,
You got the TV on, you got your cell phone or your tablet. What I'm saying,
mm.
ringing with new notifications. And
Yeah.
so many things going on. And you're trying to you get this this information overload. What I'm saying, and
Mhm.
it becomes crazy because it's difficult to try to how can I say focus on one thing.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're not using our supercomputer the right way.
Yeah, no,
We
definitely.
burn
No,
it out, and
exactly.
that's why people get really stressed out and really anxious because it's not so much that they're so busy and so everybody's a little bit busy. You know what I'm saying? But they're doing it with the anchor in
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
ocean.
Yeah. So frenetically. Yeah. So
Yes,
frenetically. Yeah.
everything's so frenetic. When you're anxious all the time and stuff like that. It's hard. It's hard to really be effective in any one thing
Okay.
in one's
Okay.
life. If so, maybe you needed to slow it down a little bit more, or just like just do one thing at a time, but do that one thing precisely. And then once you're done with that
Exactly.
one thing, put it put it down and do it to the next thing.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and it
Exactly.
starts with the little things. Like if you're eating, you should just be eating.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
and that's
Yeah.
what like the Buddhists always say, like when you eat, eat. Yeah.
Yeah. No. 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 I'm definitely with that too. Yeah. No. But like I said before, we have so many different tangibles now to be working with. So it becomes
Mm.
difficult to just eat. We also have our phone. We also have the TV on. What I'm saying, we're watching the news. Things like that. So yeah, it does become
Well,
quite problematic.
well, it's like this show, this movie, Idiocracy. You ever seen Idiocracy?
No, I haven't. No, I
Oh,
haven't.
you got to watch Idiocracy. So I'll give you a quick synopsis of the movie. So basically, the year is 2500, and
Okay.
Luke Wilson was like a dumb, average American in like the
Okay.
late 1900s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
But he was a part of an experiment. But then
Yeah.
then basically the Army experimental lab exploded, and it was like in debris. And he was still trapped in his capsule, and they found him in the year 2500. He escaped from the capsule
Yeah.
after the year 2500, and the world became so dumb because only the dumb people were having kids, like intelligent people were having
Okay.
kids,
Okay.
and then the TVs and the marketers and the marketers and the commercials, the big corporation was dumbing us down. So people were
Okay.
actually feeding the crops with Gatorade,
No,
and then
really.
and no one knew why the crops were dying. And he was like
But
saying,
how did they survive for so long?
he told everybody, he said, maybe because you feed the crops with Gatorade. He's like, what are you talking about? Gatorade got electrolytes. And then the movie that won Academy Award was called Butt, about this guy, a picture of a fat guy's butt, and he was farting the whole
No,
movie.
really, really.
So that's
Wow.
basically what's going on now. We have so much of this like information and stimuli, and some of it is just straight BS stimuli, you
Yeah.
know, that that it's dumbing us down. It's making our boat go a lot slower.
Well, definitely. I mean, the way I look at it is like, the one
Yeah.
thing I think about is the fact that if we think about like I said before, some of the great minds. You know, some
Mm,
Sir Isaac Newton,
mm,
400 years ago.
mm, mm,
Over 100 years ago with Einstein, so many
mm,
great minds. Even we think about Leonardo da Vinci, another
mm,
400, 500 years ago, and they were doing something. You even think about the Greeks, and
mm,
Pythagoras, who said, 2,000 years ago, like, yo, I want you, to his friend, take this stick and go
mm,
walk like 16,000 stadia, which is like we're really far away, stick it in the
mm,
ground at 12 o'clock. Tell me how much of a shadow it casts. And he was able to
mm,
understand the curvature of the earth, like to or 99.8% accuracy, and the
mm,
distance of the earth, also, to
mm,
such accuracy, and
mm.
you think about it now, now in our mobile phones, we have the information, we have all of the information. Really, we
Yeah.
possess at the moment. Everyone possesses a mobile phone or access to the
Mm,
internet has access to all of the information of humanity.
mhm.
And the most common thing that we do is we search for cat videos. So that's like
Uh-huh.
the biggest search. Maybe I'm not talking about the way we spend time on TikTok and Instagram and everything else. So you have to really take that into perspective. Like, wow, we have so much going on. I'm not saying that amongst us there are not some great minds. You know what I'm saying? Just like in that time, I'm pretty sure there were some stupid people too.
Yeah.
Uh, Einstein, or during Einstein, Einstein, he was also brought up in a particularly great revolutionary era also. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I'm sure that in every period there have been stupid people too. But for us to have so much, there should be so many more, great minds. Around. Even most people, say not even being a great mind and being from engineering point of view or something like that, but still be more in tune with what's saying what's going on.
Well, it's kind of like a bell curve that's going
Yeah,
on. So I don't
yeah,
know if you're familiar with the bell curve, and
yeah,
for
definitely.
viewers out there, a bell curve is like this. There's a certain level where so much information, so much of anything is of great benefit. Then after a while, you get too much information, and then you start having negative returns. And we're on the
Exactly,
other side. We're starting to get on the other
exactly,
side as a
exactly,
collective, on the other side of the
exactly,
bell curve with the information. We have this overload of information, and we have a lot of
exactly.
misinformation. And
Yeah,
but I
that's
think that
killing us too. That
but I
kills
think
us
also
too.
it kind of
Misinformation.
kills. I think what's really needed in today's society and world. I think that in all these people had it is something beyond like everybody's all into statistical analysis. I get it and all that stuff like that, and information and knowing all of and being a factoid. But in reality, you got to have discernment. You got to be able to have like a sense of common sense and wisdom of knowing what information is needed at
Exactly.
certain times and stuff like that. And that's almost a lost art. And the people who really have that art are kind of like the key are the people with the key advantage because for now the AI and the robots can't compete with those people because
Yeah,
they're playing on a different level. That's why
yeah,
Warren Buffett is a billionaire because he
mhm,
always played with a sense of common sense,
yeah,
of a sense of intuition.
yeah,
And of course, you're looking at the numbers, pounding the numbers out. Pounding the numbers out are important.
yeah,
Going through all the information is important, but you got to have like that almost that if you want to call it a sixth sense or something like that. But you got to have like that. You got to have that type of intuition.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. No, no. I see
Yeah,
where you're coming from with that. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So, but going back to resolutions, and we've been all
Yeah,
over the place. But
yeah,
and I think we kind of touched upon it a little bit. I think is sometimes people try to bite off more they can chew,
yeah,
and that's why they fail in a lot of their resolutions. And
yeah.
for me, that's why
Definitely.
I'm gonna start take one day at a time. And that's
Exactly, exactly,
And that
exactly.
that's kind of good. That's what they actually teach you at Alcoholic Anonymous. I never been.
Exactly. I was about to say you got your AA, got your AA chip going
Yeah,
on. So
you take it one day at a time. But I think and take it one moment at a time. And I think that's really what a lot of the spiritual practices evolve to is like being present and being in the moment.
okay,
And it doesn't get more micro than that.
okay,
So
yeah,
like
definitely,
and I think and then going back to Elon Musk, I think that's what he does a lot of like micro, like and same with Jeff Bezos. I've read like their stories and stuff like that. Like they have like micro meetings, micro this, micro that,
exactly,
micro that,
exactly, exactly,
micro
exactly.
learning. They'll take 60 minutes and learn something fully, not even 60 minutes, 30 minutes and get
Yeah,
a, get like 30 minutes synopsis of like say if they want to know about rocket
yeah,
whatever explosions or
yeah,
something like that. Boom, they'll sit in the tank, learn for 30 minutes straight, and boom,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
So they
Exactly, exactly,
micro,
exactly.
micro, micro. But it is the small little steps that get you to the top of Mount Everest in life.
Okay.
So
No, definitely, definitely, definitely.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
definitely. But yeah, biting off. Yeah, like you said before, expectations are really, really important to consider because a lot of people don't take into consideration. So, for example, if someone says, "You know what, I'm gonna start playing tennis," they're already thinking about being the next Djokovic or the next
Exactly.
Rafa Nadal, or what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's not gonna happen. Because those guys been doing it since they were young. Like children.
yeah.
And
Mm,
some people think that okay, because I was good in volleyball, I'm gonna be a good tennis player. I'm gonna be a professional tennis player. No, keep it realistic with yourself. And like you said before, taking it slowly, taking it slowly. These are the steps that's necessary.
mhm.
But even if saying that those are your objectives, but realize what are the steps that you have to take in order to get there. And look at each of those individual steps as resolutions. As objectives. Uh,
Exactly.
and always keeping in mind that you want to be something always greater.
Mm,
And I think that makes things
mm.
a lot easier. I think and a lot more difficult from breaking. Because like I said before, breaking those traditions, that's what really gets people.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And then I think if why people get a little heartbroken too, like you said, because the expectations, and they, like in Japan, they have a thing I think it's called ikigaya, where they talk
Okay.
about like first of all, ikigaya is about finding your life purpose and like what you're good at and how you can serve people, but also just falling in love with the process itself. You know what I'm saying? And so
Uh,
too many people are just so goal oriented they don't fall in love with the process, and that's
yeah.
what keeps people going. You
Yeah.
know, even I was listening to LeBron James talking about how he's been doing it for 21 years, standing at 11. He said, I just really fall in love with the process. I'm not,
Yeah. Okay.
of course, my aim is the chief aim is to win a
Yeah.
championship every year,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
it's the process. You got to
Uh,
fall in love. You got to like the process. Like I like this tying on my shoes and getting ready to go to the gym. I
okay.
still do at 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
talk shit with my teammates, put up some shots, lift some weights. I'm still in
Uh,
love with that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. You say you fall in love with the process. If you fall in
yeah,
love with what's going on,
yeah,
I find it very different, difficult. And that's what I said. One of the things for
mm,
me is, and I think that really keeps you really grounded because the thing is, a lot of times because on the process of arriving to an objective, I think that you get a lot of mini victories, but there are also a lot of mini failures, a lot of mini losses.
of course.
And when we see those mini losses, we often forget why did we start this. What I'm saying? So when you try to accept those mini victories, uh, and you remember how you felt when you wanted to start this, you
Mhm.
know it makes it so much easier. Like you said before, you break it down. So okay, I like tie my shoes. Like get to the gym. I like the smell of the hardwood floor. Those type of things really start to look at help you to understand those mini victories that you did achieve every
Mhm.
day.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries,
All
no
right.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, but I think that's it's good to to, like you said, always have those mini victories because mini victories are important. But that's why I think it's good, even though it is the end of the year, and and coincidentally, my birthday, or not coincidentally, actually, my birthday is like a week before the New Year. So I think it's I try to live moment to moment, day by day, but it's hard to as it because since we are live in this human experience and we live in a world that is so consumed by time
Yeah.
and then a change every year that it is a good time to always assess and reflect what's going on, what worked right and what didn't work right. And so and it is a good time to maybe not set big resolutions but like mini like goals
Yeah.
like at the end of
Yeah.
the year or your
Yeah.
birthday or something like that, like what, this is a great year. Boom. And I think for me, I had one of the best. I know I had the best year of my life.
Okay.
Financially,
Okay.
personally, everything.
Right.
And not looking so much about what I've acquired, but financially, yes, I acquired a lot more this year than ever before in my life. So that's a blessing. But just every little thing, but mostly my mindset and the way I see things, that's always shifting. And that just really trying to break down, and assess those things around my birthday, but I'm always assessing, trying to always get better. And then But like you said, that birthday or that New Year is a good time to like to just take inventory of what's going on,
Okay.
and then maybe you have to maybe you have to make some resolutions or make some
Okay.
goals or make some aims to go for. I don't
Okay.
think it's anything wrong with it. I think it's good to do that, but
Yeah.
you have to do it you have to we do things in a way where we get disappointed. And,
Yeah.
it's not about getting disappointed. It's about like we're just trying to get better. That's the chief aim. We're
Exactly.
always trying to get
Exactly.
better. And so
Exactly.
even if we shoot for the stars and hit the moon, that's still a victory. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, definitely, definitely, definitely. No,
Yeah.
in fact,
And then
that's what I
maybe
was saying.
instead of just trying to always shoot for the stars so much, maybe let's just shoot for just getting down the street. And
Yeah. Oh, that
then
definitely.
after,
That's the point I was
after,
trying to make. Exactly.
after we
Exactly.
get down the street, let's see what happens after that.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's the point I was trying to get at myself.
Yeah.
That
Mm.
those goals, if your goals are too high, you're only setting yourself up for failure. And like I
Yeah.
said, as I said before, when the first question I asked you, a lot of people when they break their promises to themselves, they sometimes feel broken. And
Yeah.
this happens because like you said before, they're always either shooting for the stars or they're always putting themselves in situations in which it's easy for them to break those promises.
Exactly. That's an important thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Putting yourself in bad situations.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I went to watch the basketball game yesterday because I
Uh-huh.
don't have cable and I'm moving. So I was at the bar. Didn't have a
Okay,
drink.
okay,
Good.
yeah,
So, but
okay,
that was
yeah,
a good thing. I actually had no urge whatsoever. So, but I'm
okay,
going to go see
okay,
my friends soon. So I know the temptation will be there for the new
okay,
year. So,
yeah,
but that's my first obstacle, and I'm gonna embrace that first obstacle,
yeah, yeah.
and then move on from there.
And just
So
remember, it's not a big thing or a big loss, even if you do succumb to it. You know
exactly,
what I'm
'cause
saying?
I'm still on.
So,
I still have my
exactly.
chief aim, and I think that's what people need to do. They need to have like, and that's what they when you create any type of business. Not only do you have a long term goal, you have short term goals.
Exactly, exactly,
So
exactly.
you have
Every time you have any business
you have
plan
multi
will tell you that. Yeah, exactly.
you have multi-tier goals. You're like, okay, for
Exactly.
5 years, I want to sell my company to Microsoft.
Yeah.
But before I sell my company off to Microsoft,
What am I going to do? Yeah, exactly.
I have I have a 1 year goal. I have a 6 month goal. I have a week goal I need to get to. I have a
Exactly.
day goal.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and I think that's what this book and I think this book I was reading called Atomic Habits. This is what they talk
Okay.
about. It's like having
Okay.
these smaller victories, smaller wins, and they really add up. And that's the
Okay.
key. Yeah,
No,
and
definitely, definitely.
you see anybody that's successful, that's the only way they succeed is by
Exactly.
taking these small steps.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because like I said, the losses are going to come. You know what I'm saying?
and
Just
also
like the
coming.
small victories are going to come. But
Yeah,
the problem is that we often look at those small losses as being much more powerful, much more potent than they should be. And kind of brushing off those many victories, saying like, okay, well, that was supposed to happen anyway. No, it wasn't. You worked
yeah.
towards that victory. You
I
know.
think I think we're so wired, and I think it's come from a genetic from a evolutionary standpoint. So
Okay.
wired to be afraid of risk and to fear failure.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so anytime we fail, it's devastating.
But no, but again, like I said, that I mean, I don't, I don't even really see the big problem with, saying failure being devastating. But I think that a lot of times we just misconstrue what failure is. We
Yeah.
think that any loss is a failure. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
loss isn't a failure. Loss is just a lesson. The
Mhm.
failure is when you accept that it's a failure and then you decide to give
Quit.
it up. That doesn't mean that you should. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean you should keep going, or doesn't mean you should keep going to your death to try to be that super tennis player. But the thing is, because I think at some point you will actually realize, okay, well, maybe this was unfeasible what I was thinking about. But I think
Yeah.
that it's something that you really thought out, something that you really wanted. It's gonna happen. What I'm saying, if
Yeah.
you choose not to give up. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. But I mean, but that's what the Japanese talk about the ikigaya too. Is like,
Okay.
you got to find your life purpose that you're something that you're naturally good at. If I mean,
Okay.
it's like I love basketball. I think I'm a pretty good basketball player. But I'm
Yeah.
5'10". I'm not going to make it to the NBA, which is good. It's cool, and I can play ball with anybody. But it's just like not, that's just not that's not where my gifts are. But
Okay.
I can use that same energy and focus and do other things with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
this is what I think this is my gift is
Yeah.
is in the wellness space, teaching
Okay.
yoga, teaching meditation, teaching mindset coaching. So
Okay.
this is what I love doing, teaching self-mastery, or in help, not even teaching self-mastery, just help giving enlightenment and perspective to people so they can learn how to master themselves.
Definitely. Definitely.